did you leave? Because I'll know. I know.
Uh,
Yeah, you. I mean, I guess you can't hear me at
didn't
this
leave.
point. I didn't leave
was yelled.
either. Oh, good. Then you're not in trouble. So let's have a little look into the deck list. Remember when we said that they were bringing Skellige, Line Pockets, and one other deck? Gregor.
Yep.
Gregor says no. Gregor's like, nah, we do things differently here, wherever here is. So we do have Line Pockets. We do have Line Pockets, but we also have Mahakam Forge and Overwhelming Hunger.
Overwhelming hunger. Kind of, I must say, kind of become underwhelming hunger in recent months. But, I mean, V still can do what V has always done, which is to play for a lot of points. Your opponent doesn't have the answers. It can be quite scary. Also, Lockdown getting kind of wiped off the meta makes V a lot more appealing because without Lockdown around, there's not as much counterplay to V as there once was.
And then we play Vi, and then we play Vi. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel like this list cues into things like the Lined Pockets list and like the Skellige list that we've been talking about?
I think V has an okay time against Line Pockets. Obviously, Line Pockets. This one does have Heatwave, which will be quite valuable. A lot of the time, they don't actually even play Heatwave, but even then, Line Pockets doesn't really have a whole lot of Tall Punish, so that can be quite an issue for them. They do have a lot of removals, so the one big issue for Overwhelming Hunger is getting their consumers to stick on the board. And when you have things like Tunnel Drill, when you have things like Paydays and Bloody Good Funds and Philippa and whatnot, it can be difficult to get those consumers to stick.
Mm-hmm.
And if those consumers die, you have one less leader charge now at Overwhelming Hunger after the nerfs. So that can make it a little bit awkward to actually consume your Vs.
Yeah, it does turn out that DarkReaper agrees with you that Vi is no good. So Vi is banned. We banned Vi, so we do not play Vi this time around. Although looking at Line Pockets, we were talking about Townsfolk earlier. In the 6th provision slot here, instead, we have Kurt. How do you feel about Kurt?
It's an interesting idea. We see Slander and Kurt, and I don't hate this because when you have things like Tunnel Draw, and you combine, if you play like a Slander or a Bounty, whatever, you could play the Tunnel Draw, kill the card with Bounty, get some more coins, kill some more cards, use your leader ability, kill some more cards, wipe your opponent's entire board, and then it's just a huge amount of points you can do with that Tunnel Draw. And I think it's not a bad approach to go with a Bounty or two, which we do see that Gregor is ending up going for here. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, especially compared to Townsfolk. Yeah, Townsfolk's an odd one for me. Then we do have this Mahakam Forge with Bruverhoog. Apparently, I'm just going to say it like that now.
Bruverhoog is an absolutely insane card. We always talk about Ice. We always put Ice in the spotlight, say Ice insane card. But I must say, if Bruver meets his condition, if everything goes his way, this card is in a league of its own. Assuming everything goes your way. Being able to boost up every dwarf, every turn that has armor, when your leader ability gives all your dwarfs armor, it's like a Gezrus without adrenaline sometimes, and that's insane. This card can solo carry this deck at times, which is just, it's phenomenal. That being said though, one major weakness of the Mahakam Forge deck, generally speaking, is its lack of removal. It has almost no removal. It has Heatwave, and it looks like Gregor has put in Daragaré as well, just to try give him a little bit more removal value as well as probably some movements. It's a kind of soft removal type of thing. But other than that, this deck, you don't really have a whole lot of ways to disrupt your opponent's game plan. That's its biggest weakness, I would say.
I guess it's a deck that hopes for the uninteractive opponent. So things like the Gedeneath we saw earlier, Witchers, for example, another list that doesn't really touch your stuff. But it's not a list that we've seen a lot of. So it could be kind of an up-and-coming surprise in terms of the lists. Meanwhile, though, let's have a little look at DarkReaper. And DarkReaper, I believe, has banned... His lined pockets is banned. So Gregor has banned the lined pockets of...
Makes sense. Line Pockets is definitely a deck you do not want to go up against for sure. I guess we move on then to DarkReaper.
Yep. Blaze of Glory, Line Pockets, and Deadeye Ambush. Hey, look, he got the memo. Gregor didn't get the memo about how we're doing our lineups, but DarkReaper did.
Yeah, Blaze of Glory once again. This is a
but
weird
the
one.
Deadeye Ambush list. Look at that.
I think I see spot something else even more interesting here about before we get the ambush. Look at the Blaze of Glory. DarkReaper is very confused what he wants to do with these bronze cards. We have one Raider, one Invader, one Hunter, one Warcrier, one Warrior, one Ravager. He's just like, you know what? I can't decide which of these bronzes I want. I want all of them. I'm just gonna put one of each. There we go. Swiss Army knife. Let's go.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't have a full collection. You never know. You know, we always assume that players can put any card in their list, but maybe maybe he's only got one Raider. Maybe he's only got, and he's like, wait, what else can I put in? Ah, I've got a Warcry. I'll put that in. It's fine. You know, just putting in the different parts. Yeah, that is. There's a spicy bronze list, and then we have Deadeye Ambush with Maddock, Eldane, Saber, Tooth Tiger, Hattori,
Oh boy. You know,
Aileron, Serpent Trap. So we got traps.
we spoke about uninteractivity. We spoke about uninteractivity. That is a lot of uninteractivity. I would not like to play against that if I was playing a very control-heavy deck, because that looks like it's going to be frustrating to play against at times. That is just, you know, you have Immune Sabertooth, you have Madlock, which is not even really a unit. I mean, he kind of is, but he kind of isn't. You have, so basically, the only units you do have are units you can't really, like, Skirmisher, you can't really interact with it. It's like a 2-point unit. Prior to Ignition, you don't want to interact with it because there's armor. You have Maddock you don't want to interact with. You have Sabertooth Tiger you can't interact with. So most of the units that you play you can't interact with, and then what's left is just a bunch of traps and special cards. So this deck is going to be quite frustrating to play against for some.
Bomb Heaver, we're making Bomb Heaver great again. You know, Bomb Heaver is back on the menu. Everyone's ready to wash their hands. Wash your hands. Catch. Oh, I've missed it. I haven't missed it.
Catch the soap. Wash your hands.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't missed it. Just don't drop the soap. So this is a spicy list. Lined Pockets is banned. Blaze of Glory has some odd cards, but then Gregor isn't running Blaze of Glory. You know, the list that we've seen hate uninteractivity. So these are going to be some unusual matchups. And if we look at the score line, just to check where these players are at, both are at 4 and 2. So this is a match that matters. Like, if you want to hit top 16, at the moment, DarkReaper's 14th and Gregor is 19th. So you kind of want to go 5 and 2, right? I feel like you want to go 5 and 2. Well, really, you want to be like one more time in Pargali and go 6 and 0. But if you can't be them, then you may as well. Oh, they just forfeited their games as well because it didn't matter.
Wait.
No, one more time in Pargali, right? Because it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Give me a fright.
No, not Gregor and DarkReaper. But we didn't even get to see one more time. Well, technically here it says one more time 1. So maybe Pargali formatted in one more time 1, one more time. Anyway, let's get ready for the games. I've been talking enough. We've been stalling a little bit here. I do have an invite. I just didn't click on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just taking my time. The reason for this is also because Quillen Cup starts at some point and we need to delay a little bit so that we don't finish the tournament and have to stall. But I can now show you guys this loading screen.
Oh, nice. More loading screens.
Hey, it's Yennefer versus Francesca. Okay, Francesca better win. I'm Team DarkReaper at this point. Scoia'tael versus Scoia'tael. Oh my god! Uninteractive lists, right? We've got the dwarves, which don't want you to touch their stuff, versus DarkReaper and his I'm gonna touch all of your stuff list.
I mean, there's one nice thing about the dwarves in this matchup is that all the dwarves have armor, and when you're touching the dwarf stuff, you're gonna touch their armor too. Which makes the dwarves, I think, not too bad in this matchup, considering the fact that they have that armor is just going to be very, very annoying for DarkReaper to deal with, I think. So I think that dwarves might have the upper hand, but we'll have to see how that ends up going, because DarkReaper, he's got a lot of touching, and maybe he can touch enough where the dwarf armor gets actually kind of mitigated, making Bruver quite bad, potentially.
Let's make a prediction. Also, shout out to DarkReaper repping that esports card back. I just want to put that one out there.
And
anyone who supports esports and Border is a winner in my book. And he's playing Francesca, so you know he gets extra point. But then I am Team Yennefer. This is where it gets confusing, because I do think I'm Team Yennefer.
Oh no, you're gonna start a war, Jaggerous. You're actually gonna start a war.
I mean, we already have a Scoia'tael Civil War going on here, with Gregor opening with our Dwarven Chariot, Spawner Ready Dwarf on this row. And here he is. And he can also add more armor, right? This Dwarven Chariot is going to give more armor to things, including this dwarf. Like, he can give the Rowdy Dwarf armor, should you wish to armor all your dwarves and do
Yeah,
Brugger
I mean,
things.
it's a card that did get changed recently. It no longer has the bond ability. Now, rather, it just becomes like a little engine, and you can give cards armor like Yarpen and those Berserkers. And Yarpen are one of the unique cards in the game that can transfer armor into points. So when you're giving things like the Yarpen armor, it's going to transform that armor into points, and just a nice little conversion rate here. As we see Gregor now going to decide what he wants to armor. Is he going to armor the Rowdy Dwarf, or is he going to give more armor to that Berserker? Looks like he goes for the Berserker. Now the Berserker comes down with 6 armor, making it quite annoying for DarkReaper to actually try deal with.
But DarkReaper high rolling, and instead of the Pyrotechnician hitting the Dwarven Berserker in armor, it's hit the Dwarven Chariot and brought that down, but it's not quite dead, this little engine. So how do you easily do 1 damage?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that too. How do you do that 1 damage amount? You might have to just invest a bomb into it. Doesn't feel great to use a bomb just on that. Looks like he goes for the 1-point bomb. Maddock not behaving, going on the range drone. Man, you hate to see it. Maddock just always has a mind of his own, it seems.
Yeah, there he is in all his mad lad glory, awaiting. Whenever you play a bomb, you summon him to the row. You can spawn Cataclysm for 1 turn on the opposite row. This lovely empty opposite row.
Yeah, this. I mean, that's what you have the bombs for. The making of bombs, they can end up moving things around, making it a little bit better for the Maddock here. As we do see Gregor going to stack that melee row. Although, that being said, the annoying thing about dwarfs is they are incentivized to row stack for things like the Mahakam Guards, which boosts himself by 1 every dwarf on the row. But then again, if you're stacking a row, you're playing a little bit into Crushing Trap, and obviously this deck does play with, I think, quite a few Crushing Traps, so could be a bit scary. As we see Making Bomb making its appearance, getting that Rowdy Dwarf into the range row, throwing it into the fire there, and that will end up killing it.
And Maddock is back on the range row. He didn't get the memo, apparently. Came back to the range row. But that Making a Bomb being utilized there to make swift work of the Berserker, you know, putting it into the Cataclysm, removing the armor, killing it, so denying the engine. He's also managed to deny the engine that is the Chariot, so in terms of the engine value on the board, control so far successful. And there's a second Making a Bomb, right? So you can still re-enable Maddock onto the other row.
Yeah, I mean, Making a Bomb is actually really nice cards this match. You don't really feel great about using them all the time. And now we see Gregor gonna commit that second Pyrotechnician. Now, Pyrotechnician is a bit of a weird one because you don't really want to kill this Maddock, because if you do, you send it potentially the correct rows. We're now going to see maybe a second Making the Bomb. We're going to throw another dwarf into the fire there. And that is exactly what we see happen. Will Maddock finally get the memo and jump in the melee row? He really does not want to go into the melee row, it seems. This Maddock is not behaving at all.
Yeah, it turns out being a Pyrotechnician, not the greatest life expectancy, as Cataclysm and Pyrotechnics making swift work of that poor little dwarf. It's a tricky one, though, because Gregor is stacking a row, you know, which Maddock obviously keeps going to the wrong row, but it does play into row damage traps, right? If you have cards that deal damage to a row, then this plays into that strategy.
Yeah, it looks like that is in fact going to be... I mean, he's get himself a pretty developed board now. This guard now not playing for a little amount of points. It's actually going to be boosting up by, I believe that is 8-point guard right now. Not too bad. And there is still a Zoltan to come down, which could threaten for some carryover. And Gregor now has a pretty big point gap as well. Could be forcing DarkReaper out of this round soon.
Yeah, what does he have left that he particularly wants to play? You know, it gets to a situation where suddenly you're not really in an ideal situation, and I pair Kotori, you're creating a trap. I haven't checked the traps to see if he's got, you know, where he would get a choice of exactly what he wants. But there's not really a Becca's target.
I believe there is 1, 2, 3, 4 traps, so it is 75% chance of getting whichever one you want.
But he did play the Hattori. He's opted for that into the serpent trap.
Oh, so we see it face up. Interesting. So that's how it works. So we see it face up. The players see it face down.
Oh, pitfall trap.
That's
sorry.
All right, that's actually quite nice. So we know what it is. And that's doing a lot of pings there, coming down for 10 pings of damage. Although a lot of that did get soaked up by armor. And as we see here, all the dwarfs have lost their armor. So that means that armor value from this leader ability actually getting very well utilized, converting it all into points.
Oh, the sheer audacity, Gregor. Emoting cunning play. Cunning play. I played this and got lucky in all of the pings hit armor. How talented I am. It's like, you got lucky, mate. Yeah,
I mean,
cheeky
to be fair,
git.
to be fair, that was 10 pings. There was a good chance of hitting some armor there. That being said, though, there is a rock slide which could be used to answer this Zoltan, but that's a very slow tempo play. Only play for 4 points. I don't know if DarkReaper will have the point gap to make it up after that. So I don't think he can do that. He's, I think, forced to pass at this point. He goes for it anyway. How is he going to make up these points? That's a pretty big point. I think I guess he's going to play Venostil and some leader charges. That's.
I think he has to play Venostil, or maybe he's hoping that Gregor plays more cards. That's the alternative strategy, is let's keep going and hope that my opponent plays something else. Because you've dealt with the carryover at any rate, which you do kind of need to deal with. But I do agree that with the current board state, you're not in a great position, because you've got the Pitfall Trap, and yes, you can spring it, but ideally you want them to play into it. Venostil is such a core card with the Deadeyes and leader charges, that's not really ideal. And then Eldain doesn't work because you want to transform all your face-up traps into Elven Deadeyes, but you don't really have many face-up traps. But he's actually played the Serpent Trap.
Ooh, and now that second Serpent Trap not going to do much. Only going to do 4 damage with this guard coming down. That's a really big point gap. If Gregor passes here, what on earth is DarkReaper going to do? That is a... I mean, I guess DarkReaper has to pass now. There's just no way to keep playing.
And bear in mind that Pitfall Trap, sorry, I keep calling it Serpent Trap, 4 provisions, and it hit the Mahakam guard that had armor. It's a situation where it would have been better to manually spring the trap and get the 6 damage rather than allow your opponent to trigger it with a 4 provision card.
Yeah, that's I mean, he plays the Eldain in round 1. That's a big commitment.
Does he have Aileron?
Yeah, I believe there is an Aileron, so Aileron will come out if one more Elf is played. I mean, at this point, Gregor, I don't think he's too upset about taking a pass here. With Eldain coming out and Aileron going to come out too, I believe. That is not a bad time to take a pass. So many traps coming out. I mean, there's still double crushing traps to deal with later on, but I mean, this has been a very expensive round for DarkReaper, I would say, so far.
Yeah, and Matic really not shining in this situation. He is not the bomb.com, unfortunately. I don't know. I mean, he's got an 11-point heat wave, right? You play 1 leader charge, you get another elf, you get the Aileron, which is 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 11, 19. I think that closes the gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's
or maybe
still
you're
a
off
very
by
big
1.
commitment to me. So Gregor really thinking about whether he wants to go for this or not. He's going to take the pass here, and now DarkReaper going to have to spend another big card. Going to play the Venostil, and that will pull Aileron out. So that's going to play for, I believe, 16 points in total. Will not be enough. Going to have to use a leader charge here, and actually leader charge is not enough either. That's only going to be a tie, so going to have to use 2 leader charges as well. Very expensive round for DarkReaper.
I don't agree. I don't agree with the way that DarkReaper sequenced that. I mean, what are you holding your... I guess you're holding your Heatwave for Broover. Because I was going to say, you could have played the Heatwave plus the 2 leader charges, and that would have done the same thing, and held your Venostil.
Yeah, I mean, the Heatwave isn't even going to be that incredible, because this is still a defender, and I don't know how it's going to get to the defender. That defender comes down, and he has to heat with the defender, then suddenly the Broover can end up just completely taking the game by himself. He has to be able to answer Broover. If you can't answer Broover, this game is over. So DarkReaper has to figure out something he can do about that.
Yeah, with that said, you have the Serpent Trap with the Neuromancy and the Heatwave and stuff, so you do have some options here. The Sabertooth's not bad because it's uninteractive, but your opponent really isn't looking to interact.
He's actually pushing here in round 2. That's interesting for a no unit deck to be bleeding in round 2. I don't know how this is going to go for him, but it looks like Gregor going to just start off with a Chariot, get that down, and again, Chariot can put some more armor on the board and make things very awkward. I don't know what DarkReaper's plans are. He's got 1 leader charge left, and what is he going to play next? Serpent Trap? What's the plan? It's looking quite awkward for him.
I don't know. I mean, his Neuromancy isn't even looking stacked. His deck, in general, he's played so much gold in round 1 just to get that win, plus the 2 leader charges.
Yeah, this is looking really dire for DarkReaper. Not exactly sure how he's going to do this. Yikes. Very yikes. As we now see a Neuromancy being used for the first time here onto... There's not really much left. Man, there's only bronzes left. He takes a Neuromancy onto the downrating bomb. Will Maddox behave this time around? Maddox still not behaving. Going to go onto the range throw yet again. Man, DarkReaper just can't find a break this game.
And Gregor playing around the Serpent Trap there, by playing his Oneiromancy now before it comes down. It puts him 1 point ahead with this Figus, and DarkReaper is basically committing to going down a card here. Serpent Trap destroys the lowest unit if you spring it. It's a 2-point play, and Heatwave is a 5-point play in this situation.
This is just a slaughter at this point. I mean, I don't really see how DarkReaper's going to be able to do anything. He's got only bronze top deck into round 3. He's got nothing going from in round number 2. The Sabertooth is doing nothing. This Maddock is doing nothing. He takes the pass. He goes a card down. I don't think things could have gone much worse for DarkReaper. It's a tough matchup though. It has to be said. There's so much armor and stuff for pings to go into. Maddock is just not playing ball at all this time around. Which is pretty sad as well. So you're not in the most comfortable of positions. You have the most uninteractive hand in the world, so maybe that will help you here. Yeah, I mean, but then again, Dwarfs is a completely proactive deck. It doesn't care about uninteractivity. So if you don't play any units, Dwarf goes, it's okay. I'm just gonna carry on. I'm gonna do me. You do you. Whatever. One nice thing though that DarkReaper has been able to achieve is he did get Defender out, which means he can now Heatwave the Bruiser, which is important, but at this point, I don't know how much it really matters. As now we're going to see a Neuromancy coming up from DarkReaper. I think probably onto Bomb. Actually, there's no bombs left. Never mind. It's going to be it's going to just be a incinerating trap, which takes the armor off Brewer. Brewer gets armor back again. Heatwave will get used on Brewer. It's looking so bad for DarkReaper. Yeah, he has to basically Heatwave the Brewer, otherwise, you know, it's sad times. But then in that situation, you can also end up with a Serpent Trap that's maybe dead or has to be used on the lowest unit just because the Heatwave could get played. Although right now the Heatwave can't get played. So, we'll see. Yeah, this is looking very sad. DarkReaper has he has a Serpent Trap, which I guess can play for like 5 points. He has a Maxi, which can play for 6 points. He's got a Squirrel, which can play for 4 points. Not a very strong lineup against Gregor, who still has leaderboard to Yarpen, and still has his own Heatwave. This is, I think, player connection lost. I mean, I think I would. You would lose connection. Would you lose connection in this situation as well? But yeah, which player? What if it's Gregor? What if? I hope it's not Gregor's connection, because that'll be quite sad. Oh, well, are we okay? We're okay. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't know. I feel like even in a tournament setting, like, you gotta play it to the end. That's good sportsmanship. Looks like now we just see Paulie coming down here. Not really gonna do much. Just gonna play for 6 points, putting some more armor on the board potentially. But yeah, looking at DarkReaper's hand, 11-point gap in favor of Gregor. It's just looking pretty bad for DarkReaper. Yeah, 4 points girl comes down now. But the thing is, Gregor has the extra card, and he has the Yarpen with the barricade, plus the Mahakam Forge with the extra armor onto Yarpen. So that's just massive, and that's something that DarkReaper can't really interact with. He's got, what, a 6-point maxi to look at all the bronze cards in his deck. That's just, I feel like that's adding insult to injury. You're like, here's your card, go look at all the trash in your deck, and think about your life choices. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think DarkReaper really going to be considering his life choices after this game. Things have just gone really, really wrong. As down comes this Yarpen. Yarpen going to be getting armor from the Paulie, converting that armor into points. And, I mean, look at this point gap, 25-7. This is just Serpent Trap. I mean, Serpent Trap will kill the Yarpen at least. That's something, right? No, actually, it won't, right? Because Gregor can just pass. Or can he wave, yeah. Or boss too. I mean, yeah. There were so many ways that didn't kill the Yarpen. 32 points to 10. Not a close game. I think it was close. It was close in our hearts. No, it wasn't. It was close, no. Close in our hearts. maybe in your heart was that a close game. In my heart, that was a fiesta of a game. Yeah, dwarves really coming out to play. Traps, not so much. Traps. I feel like the verdict is still out, but the dwarf deck, when you can't shut down the stuff that it has, is pretty nasty. All right, so that means that I believe Gregor taking the win 1-0. Yep. 1-0 up. Gregor 1-0, which means he's at match point 1. Currently ahead at match point. What's Gregor's overall score this game? This tournament? They're both at 4-2. They're both at 4-2. So they're both going for 5-2. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big important one. And bear in mind that if we have a quick peek at the list, Gregor has just won with Mahakam Forge, and I believe Lined Pockets is banned, which means he's left on... Oh no, sorry, Overwhelming Hunger was banned, so he's left on Lined Pockets, which is not really a bad list to be left on. Whereas DarkReaper still has the Deadeye Ambush list and also the Blaze of Glory list.
Okay, so let's see what happens in this potentially final game of the day, unless this DarkReaper can pull out something from the bag and take this win and force a game number 3. Otherwise, this might be the last game. We'll have to see what happens in this one. Very important game, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how do you think this Blind Pockets list does against Deadeye Ambush? Because we've seen it against Blaze of Glory, and it's decent.
It's the uninteractivity can be annoying. It can definitely be annoying, the uninteractivity. Will it be annoying enough though? I don't know. I mean, Line Pockets does also have a lot of proactivity of its own. It's not as reactive, I guess, as Skellige. But it also has a lot of things like Paydays and Bloody Good Fun, which need some interactivity. So, I mean, it could be awkward. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and it is 4-2. So if you lose, you're out, and if you win, you might still be out. I mean, it depends on the rest of the
I think 5 and 2 seems like a pretty.
I feel like that should be enough.
Yeah, 5 and 2 seems like it should be enough. So I think both these players here are fighting to get that top 16 slot. If you lose, I think you're out. If you win, I think you're in. So it all comes down to this for both these players. Who's going to grab that final? Who's going to grab that slot for the big finale, and who is going to go? I always want to say go home, but I can't say that. Who's going to?
They're already home, probably.
Unless
they're playing on mobile. They could be like in their garden. I mean, you can't go anywhere, can you?
I mean, they could be playing McDonald's. That might explain the connection lost.
Are you allowed in McDonald's? Because here you're not allowed in McDonald's. Like, you can't go in. You can only get drive-through. So maybe they're playing in their car outside of McDonald's. At least if they live in the UK.
Don't forget to press play.
No, I'm forgetting to press play so that we can stall long enough. So that
okay.
This was a tactical. This was tactical discussing.
Right,
but go on then. I'll press play. Just seeing as you asked. I will be the one. There you go. No, I was tactically trying to. Because if this is a 2-0, we might have to just talk about it at the end, so that we can focus. Don't leave, chat. You'll be in trouble. Hey, look, it's Yennefer again. Yennefer has not yet let down.
Jaggerous, you're gonna start a war. You gotta stop saying the Y word. You're gonna end up starting a civil riot.
Would you rather I say the V word instead of the Y word?
Well, just don't say the T word and don't say the Y word. If you say one of those words, bad things happen.
You're gonna have people redeeming.
You're gonna have people redeeming avatars and stuff in my channel tomorrow.
Why would I ever say Triss when she's just so terrible?
Oh god, I'm gonna pay the price for this tomorrow. Everyone's gonna redeem Yennefer avatars, and then people are gonna redeem Triss avatars, and I'm gonna be very sad.
Oh, because you have to change your avatar.
Yes.
So that's so much effort having to change your avatar at the bequest of your Twitch chat. Live such a sad existence. Okay, so we've got Skellige versus Line Pockets, which we've seen go terribly for Skellige. But does DarkReaper have enough proactivity with his interesting bronze package, right?
Yeah, he has a very unique bronze package. He has one of everything. He has a Swiss Army knife in his deck. He has everything for every different occasion. Let's see if that ends up working out for him or not. As he wants to have as much proactivity. Starting off with the totem, very aggressive opener. Usually you don't see this coming down so quickly in round number 1, but DarkReaper, I guess, wanting that final save for that big ice finisher potentially, and just wants to make sure he has the points to do so in round 1.
And here comes the safe cracker. This time around, not a 4-point safe cracker. Instead, we do see value here. But it means that DarkReaper has targets, and DarkReaper is jamming the cards. He has not gotten the memo that we need to take our time. Using the raiding fleet there, thinning out the Ancrate longship, and giving it Veil to try and protect it.
Yeah, this boat is going to be quite awkward for Gregor to deal with. However, he does have the heat wave which he could use to deal with it. That being said, though, is this boat even that much of a threat when you have so much special cards in hand? You can kind of just ignore the boat at this point and just say, whatever, I've got a whole bunch of special cards, your boat don't do anything to me.
Yeah, that is true. Like, boat needs you to play active units, I suppose. That is a consideration. But heat wave, actually, is a good way of dealing with the boat. And the thing is with Skellige is it doesn't tend to go that tall. Like, the tallest you tend to get out of this deck is things like Utah and Ancrate Greatsword, but that happens usually in the last play. so you're not often going to be able to target those. So you might as well maybe
Yeah.
make hay while the sun shines and heat wave boats while the. I guess
Yeah,
a heat wave probably would stop a boat, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends on how hot the heat. I mean, I guess if these full wooden boats, probably. That being said, the second boat might come down, but that's so easy to answer because Gregor. I mean, you have the bloody good fun, which can just be very flexible. Remember, you got the payday, so most likely going to see some boats get sunk here, as we're going to see now. Down comes that 6 bleed onto that. Man, that's Safecracker. He's cut his hands on those lockpicking. He's not.
I
having a
know,
good
he's
time
actually not a very talented safecracker. He's basically just jamming himself repeatedly with the lockpicks and hoping to successfully crack the safe. Furco does come down though, and this is nice because he's a crown splitter. You can then play him into the Novigradian Justice and have the crown splitter on the board in order to get the synergy with the effect. So we get another safecracker. He's like, mate, stop, just give me your lockpicks, I'll show you how it's done. And currently not bleeding to death.
Yeah, I must say, with all these bronzes from DarkReaper, it's almost as if he's trying to build like a half shoot deck with one of every bronze. He's almost there. You can almost build a shoot deck with this. Unfortunately, shooting a neutral card makes it kind of bad. But yeah, DarkReaper actually getting threatened to lose on even, despite the fact that he committed Totem and the raiding fleet. He committed a lot, and yet here's Syndicate putting the pressure on without even committing all that much.
It's these intimidate safecrackers, right? They have played for so many points because Gregor was able to set them up nice and early. So they got the boost from all the crimes, and then they got the second boost from all the crimes being played. And DarkReaper now opting to play the Greatsword.
Yeah, I mean, this Greatsword, very easy to die as well. You could just play Bloody Good Fun if you wanted to kill it. That being said, the Bloody Good Fun would end up overspending to kill it, but could also, in theory, play a drill. Not sure if you want to commit your drill so early on. The drill is actually kind of a win condition. I mean, I say this, it's a 6 provision card, but it's funny how when we talk about drill, it's kind of a card you don't want to commit because it's overcommittal, yet it's just a 6 provision card.
The question, I guess, is does he need to kill the Greatsword? You know? Like, he could always play the Dip in the Pontar straight onto the Greatsword. Oh, actually opting for the drill.
Yeah, looks like
I'm
he's
just
going to take
talking.
the drill here. Drill will be used there to kill that Greatsword. And I mean, DarkReaper, looking at his hand, full bronze hand, and he's down on points. This could be a loss on even, and losing on even is not what you want here.
I mean, no one ever wants to lose on even. No one is. You're like, it's not what you want to hear. It's not what you ever want. There's never a situation where someone's like, oh, you know, well, I guess sometimes losing on even is better than
If your
winning
opponent
2 cards down.
overcommits like crazy, then
I suppose. This is like close all over again of this niche scenario where it's better to lose on even. I'm not playing this game with you, Spyro.
Gregor though did have a pass that he wanted to force DarkReaper to go 2 cards down, but it seems like Gregor though saying that he'd rather just win on even and not even care. And now we see the Invader come down. This is looking really bad for DarkReaper, I would say.
I don't think Gregor needs to pass, really. Like, look at his hand. He has a bunch of crimes that he can continue to play, get huge value on his Intimidate engines. He's got the Tunnel Drill in pocket should he need to remove anything. And he's not gotten to the point where he's starting to commit cards that you maybe don't want to commit, the cards that you want to save, simply because his hand isn't there. And he also hasn't thinned his Flying Redanian yet.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he won't get the Flying Redanian out. There is one... Gregor's hand is also getting a little bit awkward, right? He has... Never mind. He did have some cards he... didn't want to play, but looks like he does take the round win on even. He didn't really commit all that much. I mean, he committed Justice and Drill. I mean, DarkReaper committed Totem and the Raiding Fleet. So both players did commit something, but I mean, Syndicate of Crimes has a strong round 1, and that's something that Syndicates usually struggle with in the past, is their round 1s haven't always been particularly good, but with Line Pockets getting so many nice new spenders and some very easy coin generation, you know, Line Pockets is a pretty strong round 1.
And I think in this situation as well, when you've got Skellige playing on blue into lined pockets, it's playing into lined pockets game plan, because they can kind of choose how they want to pace the round. They can bully you, they can set up their engines, and you're not really in a position where you're able to set up your damage in the same way because they have this uninteractivity, right? So it is, I would say, it is pretty difficult for the Skellige player. And now you've just lost on even. It's like, what are you gonna do here? With that said, Gregor does have a Flying Redanian in hand.
Yeah, that's going to make bleeding a little bit less attractive for him. I don't know. I mean, long round 3, double final save for Gregor means that ice is probably going to be a lot less valuable. Looks like Gregor, though, not wanting to take the pass, instead going to push with the Jacques. And now DarkReaper realizing he is, in fact, going to get bled. So how exactly does he go about defending the speed? There isn't that many crimes in Gregor's hand, however, so do keep that in mind. And no way to collect this bounty from the Kurt.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, like... So Gregor's giving up his double last say to say, I want to try and bleed your iced out of you, I suppose, is the logic here. But it's not really a great hand for bleeding because you've got this Flying Redanian in hand as well, so you don't have the tempo there. But we see a lot of spending going on.
And now we have a Neuromancer coming out here. On to, what is that going to be? Philippa going to steal that bird, and oh my goodness, this could be a 2. I mean, actually, could it be a 2? I mean, you're flying Redanian. I mean, you have the 2 with a Redanian finisher, which is not exactly an easy way to 2-0, but I mean, 19-0 with an engine now on Gregor's board. It's looking really scary for DarkReaper. Really, really scary. He doesn't even have Bloodthirst 2, so he can't even play the ice anytime soon. That's a bit of a yikes.
It is a yikes. And now this Ankre Longship is damaging everything that he plays. He can try and set up the Bloodthirst, but because of the Longship, it means that Dip in the Pontar, giving you the perfect amount of damage to just clear the board there and continue to kind of profit. You need one more damage unit, but the thing is, the only unit that's easy to damage, or like that doesn't have armor at least, is Jacques, but Jacques can just boost himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't even damage Jacques to get the Bloodthirst 2 because he just boosts himself, as you mentioned. Now, DarkReaper gonna have to find another. I mean, he could just play Bloody Go onto one of the bronze cards and get a Bloodthirst, I guess. And wait, how is he almost out of warriors? He's that's his last warrior in deck. How did that happen?
Oh no!
Oh,
And
boy.
Okay, so we got the Flying Redanian in hand. Gregor has taken his foot off of the pedal. He's not final saying Redanian. DarkReaper has managed to find. He's managed to find the Bloodthirst 2, so he's got that for East. And I think at this point you maybe just have to jam iced.
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice. I mean, it's quite insulting, honestly, when you're getting bled by a Redanian. Like, when you see your opponent just playing the Redanian without even taking a second thought about it, that's where you kind of feel a bit offended, I think. Whereas DarkReaper now, he's probably going to have to play the ice. I don't think he can hold on to it any longer. I don't think he has to play it now. Like, there's just not the time. Just have to go for it.
Well, he's thinking about it, and it takes a little bit of time. Like, this is you gotta play some cards. Good news is he does have the greatsword in hand to discard, so that's set up nice and powerful. Plus the leader charge, onto the Utah,
it's a lot of points, but
onto Jacques.
Look at that point swing. It's a phenomenal big point swing, but now he ends up overcommitting to this round. Whereas I think at this point, Gregor is saying, that's what I need to get out of you. I'm happy with that, and I'm just going to go into round 3 and still have my big finishes, whereas you only really have your Herald Cripple left, and I'm happy with that, I think.
I don't know, though. I think, like, Gregor did spend into that round to get that, and lost his double last say. You know, Blaze of Glory, like, they still have Harold. He's still got Skjordal. He's still got Turkby. Like, there's decent cards in this list. He's going to draw... Oh, he's not going to draw into Blood Eagle, I tell a lie, but he drew into Turkby himself. And does oh, I've forgotten his name.
So,
Gregor. Does Gregor have the cards that he needs for this round?
He doesn't have the Cleaver, but of course he can get it. I mean, that's a really good hand for DarkReaper here. And, I mean... Okay, he finds the Skewer Tooth. Doesn't have many... I mean, this doesn't look that bad for DarkReaper. That being said, though, he does have some cards that require interaction. Skjordal requires interaction. Yeah. Turvy requires interaction. That not bloody fun rather, but that the War Plans requires interaction. So for activity, it could be a bit awkward.
But he can always play the Jenga dry, right? Like, there's not necessarily going to be a locked target, so it depends on how uninteractive Gregor opts to be here.
Bloody good fun. I think what Gregor wants to do is he wants to get the coin in the bank, and that allows... Okay, never mind, he wants to just kill that. Okay, so he's going to force DarkReaper to be proactive once more, and I guess you just probably have to play the lock right now. Don't really see what else you can do. I mean, you could also just maybe play the Turvy, but I think Jenga is not going to get any value in this match. We may as well just throw that away. Does DarkReaper have enough proactivity to overcome big gourd finish, and that gourd is big. That is a big gourd. How much is it, Jaggerous?
It's 11
already
point
at
gourds.
11
It's not too bad.
But there's still a Neuromancy which could grab another special and make that a bigger actually.
Yeah, there are a couple more specials in the list as well, and also Cleaver. The thing is, opting to play. I think that's an interesting choice. Opting to play the Turkey here rather than the Jenga. I'm not really sure what it is he's wanting to lock necessarily.
Yeah, I don't really see this getting too much value, this Jenga. But it does take the Turkey proactively. And
I guess well, he's got Kurt, right? So I guess you're saying he's going to purify the Rupture anyway.
So DarkReaper, of course, can play Skjorl, and that would kill the pig entirely. Make some nice bacon from that piggy. If you play Skjorl right now with Harold the Cripple Ping as well, it will just die out immediately from that.
Yeah, I guess you're worrying if you're going to have a target for your War of Clans. I don't know. Because you're not really going to get your Bloodthirst for your Jenga, right? If you play War of Clans onto the piggy, then he has the potential of the Intimidate. I think you need to kill it.
Yeah, because not just that, but the Sir Skewertooth is a Crown Splitter, which means that if Gregor were to play the Cleaver next, it would enable Cleaver to get more points as well. So I think you really want to kill the Sir Skewertooth ASAP, which means Skjorl is just the best card to play at this point, I would say.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And so does DarkReaper, because the pig is now bacon. He's making some bacon. 17 points to 0. Can we just talk about that?
Yeah, that's a big gap. Gregor though does have Cleaver, does have. I don't want to say the C word, but it might be C.
Close. The C word is close. Is it close? Am I close?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's going to be close, actually. I think that this was the round 2 maybe made a decision about how this is going to turn out. But here comes Cleaver. Here he is in all of his dwarven glory.
Yeah, he's gonna probably get himself a nice little minion to come by his side to protect him. And there it is. It's point gap now, closing up a little bit. This gourd is gonna... this is gonna be a big gourd. It's gonna be a 13-point gourd, I believe. So we'll see how close that one ends up being.
It's not a small War of Clans at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can play for 9 points. Grab the Invader. Great, Invader is definitely the best option for sure. 9 points on that is for sure the best pick.
It's a solid inclusion. 24 to 10. We've got 13 points on the gourd. So it's Kurt versus Jenga. So yeah, I think DarkReaper does in fact take it by like a close number of points, one might say. One might say this was a close game.
And it's like 2-point game.
Yeah, Gregor got the memo. Gregor was like, "Oh, you mean you want a game 3, so that Quill has an opportunity to start his stream? We got a game 3."
All right, so you don't have to stall too much now, then, Jagger. If you have game 3, you're gonna be.
I have to sit and talk about that, but we're gonna see that trap monstrosity again versus Blind Pockets. That's what's coming up.
Yep, that is in fact going to have to be. I mean, this all comes down to this. Both these players, it's all, do or die now. If you win here, you go through. If you don't win here, well, you go not home, somewhere else.
You just go. You go. It's up to you. You leave your room. Well, you're not allowed to leave your house, right? Social distancing and staying home and saving lives and all that kind of shit.
You go outside. You go to the garden.
Are you allowed outside? No, sorry, it's not safe outside anymore. There's COVID out there.
Oh boy. Let's see what happens in this one. Final game of the day, unless there's a tie, but we don't do those here, right?
No. If there's a tie, I just end the stream. I have the power, so if that happens, I'm just gonna be like, nah, I'm done. I've got things to do today. I can't just commentate Gwent all day. But here we go. Yennefer versus Francesca once again. Lined pockets on blue versus square-tailed traps on red.
Oh boy. Uninteractivity versus super uninteractivity. Let's see who's going to come out on top.
Who can interact the least? And will Maddock find the correct row this time? What do you think? Has he figured it out?
Maddock is very confused. He doesn't know what rows are what.
He's an unsure fellow. I mean, he keeps dying, so you know, I feel like he has a hard life.
All right, let's see what happens here. As Gregor will be leading the way with blue coin here. I'm not sure if you really want blue coin this match because you know these no unit decks, I think, do like red coin quite a bit. As we do see Gregor, though, does have the just in hand. He can a Neuromancy potentially for a Safecracker to get that Safecracker combo going. We all know how much points double Safecracker can be. It's just a nice way to win round one. It's just you play 2 Safecrackers and it just plays for so much points. You can kind of just play the rest of your cards carelessly and quite often just take rounds with just Safecrackers. Quite a nice round one play.
Also, crackers are delicious. The word crackers has lost all meaning to me at this point. With how many times you said safe crackers in the last like 30 seconds. Okay, so Gregor roping. He's a rope friend. He's decided.
I think he's decided if he wants to go for a Neuromancy or not. Or he could, I suppose, just play. Yeah, okay, so he just goes for the Blacksmith. Blacksmith also got a bit of a buff. I believe he gets now 2 coins instead of 1. So now a 6-point card for 5, which is also a spender instead of just a 5 for 5, which
he's realized minimum wage has gone up in Novigrad. Now 2 coins instead of 1. He's taken a bit home to his wife and kids, or husband and kids, or maybe he has no kids, or maybe he lives alone. I don't know, but you know he's got a bit more money in the bank. And here's the Safecracker.
Safecracker only coming down at 6. Usually Safecrackers, you know, it's not unusual for them to come down for 8, 9 points sometimes. This one a little bit on the smaller side. No
he's a halfling. He's literally a halfling. You can't call a halfling small. They already have a height complex, and you're like, oh, he's a bit small for a halfling. That's not okay, Spyro. Why would you say that?
I mean, okay, he's big at heart. He's got some big things planned with that safe. But that being said, though, this Safecracker might get cut down to size soon if some bombs end up coming down on him, which they might. Here comes the skirmisher, going to be making this Safecracker come down to quarterling now. Now it's a quarterling. We're from halfling to quarterling.
Quarterling, thirdling. No, he's a thirdling because he's a 3. Maybe he'll be a quarterling soon. With that said, do you click the pyro? You didn't click the pyrotech. Sometimes I'm like, just YOLO click. Just click it. Just do it. It won't hit the shield. It'll never hit the shield. He's got to believe.
1 and 3. I mean, it's quite a spooky 1 and 3. I mean, I think at this point the DarkReaper would prefer to play the Maddock. Maybe the Maddock can pop the shield, and then you can use the pyrotech more safely. Or you could just risk it now.
Maddox's going to the range row. That's where he lives. We haven't seen him on the melee row. I'm not convinced he even knows what the melee row is at this point.
Okay, let's see what happens here. As Gregor really taking his time, doesn't want to make any mistakes, wants to take that spot for the top 16, and does end up playing the shakedown, boosts up the Safecracker, making sure that it's kept nice and healthy. And
you should have clicked the pyrotechnician. I said it. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. You got to take the risky clicks. And let's make a bomb. Move an enemy unit to the other row, so then it doesn't matter where Maddock goes. And Maddock, of course, went to the range row because that's all he knows how to do.
Yeah, range row Maddock, I mean, won't be too bad here, as he will be able to potentially kill the spender. And this blacksmith actually doing a pretty good job at keeping things alive and also being a just nice spinner. Now we get to Horde 9, which means boat will come out here, and that will play for some nice stunning and some good tempo too. DarkReaper's deck, the one thing that's very awkward about these trap decks is they're round 1, they just don't really have a whole lot of points. You know, they can touch stuff, they can be annoying, but at the end of the day, points is something they are not known to have.
Okay, and Maddock is back. He was briefly dipped in the Pontar, I believe, but he survived. Turns out he can swim. He's back on the range row, unsurprisingly, because that's all he knows how to do. Bleeding onto the Cleaver's muscle, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, not ideal, but how we see the Purify value coming out from Kurt. Kurt actually playing for a nice 10 points here. Not too bad, and we see Gregor going to spend 1, still keeping 8 coins, so he keeps the maximum 4-coin carryover. And with a 20-point gap, it's going to be difficult. We saw DarkReaper in a position like this in the first game, where he kind of wanted to play this a reach game, but it didn't work so well for him, because eventually, you know, Gregor said, well, you know what? I don't believe you're going to have the points. I'm going to pass. And at this point, DarkReaper needs to make sure he doesn't make the same mistake again. Has to figure out when is the time to pass.
Maddock to the range row!
I think this Maddock is like jump range row every time in this game.
He is a mad lad, one might say. But a lot of spending going on here at the blacksmith. They are making great profits this quarter. It turns out that metal tools highly coveted by halflings, so he's making plenty of sales, making loads of profit and spending it all on Kurt. That's where we're at currently. Now to Spyro with the weather.
With the weather, cloudy with the
Cataclysm?
chance of with the chance of cataclysm, let's say.
In this situation, though, the Range Robotic's not, I guess, the worst thing ever. There's a lot of points.
I
Though.
mean, the Ranger is fine now. Now we do see. Wait, why can't I see the face-up version of this trap?
It's a crushing. It's a crushing trap.
But we saw last time it was face-up. This time it's face down.
This time we're just doing things differently. This time.
Spice. I guess CDPR just wants to spice it up. Just keep you on.
In case we don't know. We don't know. Look, I can hover over it. It doesn't tell me anything. What could this card be? What? Oh, okay, it's deciding. Blue is deciding. But what could this card be? We don't know.
I've no mercy for you.
Magic! How could you?
That's a little bit late though. I'm surprised that Gregor didn't do this earlier because of the fact that he could have denied so much more points with this earlier, but instead now we're going to see a pass finally come out from DarkReaper, and I expect Gregor probably going to do an aggressive beat in round 2. Do not want to be going up against long round 3 against Trap Squirtle, I would assume.
How bad is their short round though, Trap Squirtle? If there's certain cards you can hold on to which are decent, you know, Vernossiel for example is decent in a short round. I don't know what else he has that's decent in a short round. Sabretooth is decent in a short round. Hattori's okay in a short round. Ailerin, if you can hold on to her, you're decent in a short round.
And down comes Skewtooth with that all valuable immunity. And again, this is just the Skewtooth, this immune value can be so annoying because what is the DarkReaper could go Serpent Trap. Serpent Trap springing could kill it. He could actually just kill the Serpent Trap.
There we go. Let's see. Does he sense it? Here it comes. Is it a trap? Might it?
Serpent Trap can kill it.
He didn't do it.
He doesn't go for it though. Why didn't he go for the Serpent Trap? That was such a good Serpent Trap. Oh no, DarkReaper, that was such a good Serpent Trap, and that's one of the best things about Serpent Trap is that it can be used as like a predatory dive / manticore. If your opponent doesn't have any other units on the board and you just manually spring it, it just kills whatever your opponent has on the board if it's only unit. And you could have used it to kill this pig. That's gonna hurt DarkReaper. I think down comes the rock slide onto that cleaver and ends up removing that before it gets any worse.
And the issue that he has is he doesn't have a better way. Like, he doesn't have another way to get a Serpent Trap, you know, like a Hattori or something, where he could then potentially try and use the Serpent Trap with a special card. With that said, Gregor playing his special cards into Jacques, deciding whether or not he's going to make it.
And I mean, this Sabretooth is going to do nothing. There's multiple units on every row. This Sabretooth isn't doing anything other than just being annoying. It's just making Gregor have to play practically. But luckily for Gregor, he has proactivity. He's got proactive spenders. He's got Gord. He's got everything he needs. He's going to mount the full-on assault here as that Drill doesn't really matter. He doesn't really care. Drill dies, whatever. He doesn't have any units on the board anyway. Gregor is just putting all the pressure on right now.
Yeah, that is true. And it's getting to the point where DarkReaper is going to have to commit, you know, value, I suppose, although continuing to play traps. This one is a crushing trap, by the way. Spoilers.
I mean, crushing trap here isn't going to do a whole lot, but man, I feel so disappointed that we didn't see a serpent trap coming down to give us some nice bacon. But apparently, Skewtooth will survive, and this heat wave, I guess, can answer the Gord if Gord gets played this round. But at this point, I think Gregor might just take a pass soon, got out most of the traps, and DarkReaper doesn't really have a whole lot of traps left for round 3 for Aldane.
But also, how does DarkReaper, like, I guess he closed the gap. You've got your Aldane, so you can capitalize on these two traps, I suppose.
But now he can't even play Aldane because he plays Aldane. He has to manually spring the trap, which means he loses points as well. Oh, this is really awkward for DarkReaper. I mean, he's gonna have to, I think, play Vernossiel and that's
leader charges. Find. Yeah, but if you play Vernossiel here, then your Aldane is still sad because you've got no traps.
Yeah, it's really not good for DarkReaper. I mean, how much does Crushing Trap get? It gets 4 points. So he needs to do what? He's gonna have to go 2 leader charges. 1 is not enough. Oh,
and then he pulls Ailerin.
Ailerin out as well. Yep.
The thing
is not ideal.
When it comes down to it, though, if you look at the Serpent Trap versus the Sabretooth, the Serpent Trap would have been equivalent to 7 points, right? Like, the piggy didn't get that big. So I do want to point that out, that although you were so hyped for it, it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, I guess that is true. And here comes the leader charge, getting out that... I mean, to be fair though, I think you would rather have the the Sabertooth in round 3 than the Serpent Trap. But that being said, let's see what happens as we're going to go into a short round 3. Gord's still available for... and we also have Safecracker as well, which there's some crimes in hand, so it's not a terrible Safecracker. Aldane, though, he's a little bit starved of the traps, and DarkReaper has to be careful. If he starts with a Serpent Trap, not a Serpent Trap rather, but a Crushing Trap, or a Serpent Trap, I mean, we might see a special card come out just to try proc it. Actually, then again, I guess he might just...
How does he play these special cards? Because they need a target.
I mean, he can fall.
I guess he can play
force one out.
Shakedown.
I guess you could force one out with the Furka, but I thought he might have still a Neuromancer. Doesn't have a Neuromancer, doesn't actually matter. So looks like the Serpent Trap will get some value.
Actually, Dane gonna see decent value as well because the Neuromancy's got Hattori, right? So you've got another trap there. So you're getting 3 traps this round. It's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Aldane will get some good value.
And actually, the Pitfall Trap also gonna see decent value because you're in a position where if you play Harold early, it gets Heat Waved, and if you play Harold late, it's gonna trigger the Pitfall Trap.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'll probably just end up playing something like Furko next and maybe try Procket and... Actually, maybe things aren't looking that bad for DarkReaper. We'll have to see. I mean, it's Aldane is going to play for a couple and we still have 1 need to charge for DarkReaper. Whereas Gregor doesn't have a spend in hand right now, which means those 4 need to charge are going to be worthless. Gord will be a lot, but I don't know if Gord's going to be enough. DarkReaper might be able to utilize this uninteractivity to potentially win this game. It might actually not be that bad for him.
Yeah, because also Gregor's running out of uninteractivity, right? Like, he's got his Furko, plays a crime from his deck. Does he have an uninteractive crime? No. No, he does not. The answer is no. We'll see. This is... Who can play the least fun cards?
Furko and range, but interesting. Interesting.
Novice mistake.
And now let's see what Gregor's... Was that intentional? I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, I don't know, but Francesco just said a novice mistake. A novice mistake. See, now 2 Francescos have said it, so I guess unintentional. I don't know. Here comes Neuromancy. You gotta be Hattori here, right?
So it looks like Hattori will come down, which is going to be another trap for Aldane. It looks like DarkReaper might actually be in a pretty okay spot, it seems. Value of uninteractivity is once again proving to be maybe a bit much for Gregor. Why do we have 1 face up? I don't know which traps are face up, which ones are proc, because half of them are going face up, half of them are going face down. I'm confused.
Yeah, but that play there did trigger the Serpent Trap doing nothing. So it is worth kind of noting that Serpent Trap did nothing there. But here come all of the little elves. 15 points to 11, and
that heat wave is going to
spender. Right?
Gregor's gonna have no neutral ability value. He takes the. I mean, it looks like DarkReaper will actually take the final game, and wow, what a series that one was. Looks like DarkReaper will get that spot at the top 16, and Gregor, I'm not sure if he can go through, but wow, that one was unexpected. I didn't expect to see that.
Chat was smack talking the traps, you guys, but DarkReaper, he's playing 3D chess, and you guys are out here playing checkers. Also, although the scoreline says 11 to 15, this was a forfeited game, so this is not a close game. Just for the record, because he was going to heat wave the cord and blah blah blah. It wasn't actually 5-point difference. if we work it out, it's not 5-point difference. That's the other weird addendum to Jaggerous' rules of whether it's a close game: is did the player forfeit? If they forfeited, it is not close.
That was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. That's what that one was.
That was spicy.
But it seems like no unit traps will end up getting its win through, and DarkReaper gets that final, one of those final spots.